Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome back to Marvel Dice Thone Missions, video part 2. So if you didn't check out part 1, for whatever reason, we went over the rulebook, we kind of looked at what the basic components were, we went over how the game is played, big thick rulebook. Just a big quick note in case you don't want to hop back in and reread all that, is you do need to know how to play Dice Throne, and you do need any other Dice Throne expansions, which are the actual heroes you can play as. They can be the X-Men, which came out at the same time as this campaign, the other Marvel characters, or even any of the regular original IP characters or any new ones that are released. You need at least one. You can play this in solo play if you want, but you can have up to a 4-player game. Yeah, so you can definitely hop in and play. So if you just picked up this in Deadpool and you want to play through the game because he's the only solo character as of this video, you can definitely do that as well. Yeah, we went through all the rules, how to play, all the perk stuff, and some of that, or some of the basic ideas of how all that, what's different from it. So this video, we are going to go through the rest to look at the components a little bit more in depth. And then we're also going to look at all the player boards, all the villain boards. So it's going to be a little bit longer video for that. So first of all, let's hop in and look at our box here. So I did show it off in the first video, but we want to go through and re-look at, because I pulled out all the tokens and everything. So we have our token tray, which everything has its spot. Now, I do have the acrylic tokens that I purchased, which are a separate add-on. Which I will show how they'll fit in here during that video. So if you want to check out that, check out the promo one. It should be linked in the description. Otherwise, yeah, here's all the different stuff. Now, is there a thing that says this has to go here, this has to go here? Not necessarily. There's a little bit of leeway, like these spots are all the same size, so any of them can get swapped around. Some of these are the same size. So some of that doesn't matter as much. And since using the cardboard tokens, there's a little bit more, same like these four are all the same. There's a little bit more leeway in there. They do have like your numbers down here just to help them grab a little bit quicker. And if we pop this open without hopefully popping everything out. No, again, there's space in here because the acrylic tokens are a little bit thicker. We have our first player token, our crisis counter, which has either side on it. So what is neat about the crisis counter is it's a magnet. So you can flip it over to the other side, so if you want the +1 or the regular one. So rather than making it like a double-sided token, it just flips over. So that's a kind of neat way to do that. Then we have our bigger tokens in here. The odd-shaped ones are all in there. And if you're curious, because I was like, how do I know exactly where to put these? Because I started putting them in, and I was like, I had like half a dozen spaces empty. So on the side of the box, they have a storage diagram. Kind of shows how to do it. Now you can kind of tell it doesn't. It's a little bit tinier to see exactly. You can sort of basically see which ones go where. That's just telling you kind of how to like stand everything. So it does have a storage in here. For right here, we have our standees in here. So as you bought more heroes, you can drop all your standees in here. Or if you want to put all your miniatures in here. So some people might own just this cooperative game. Some might also own the adventures game. If you don't own them, you can always put, if you don't own both, you only own just this one, you can drop all your miniatures or all your standees in here. Then you don't have to keep digging through each box for each character. You can always keep your standees with your specific characters as well. But it's nice they made a place for all the miniatures as well. Which again will be another video we will do. Then we have our mystery tokens here, so if I pop these out, and these come acrylic, so these are not special, but these are, some of them are check marks. You don't know which one you have. I think 4 check marks. And we have 3 X's. So some of these might just be missions, might have you have a mystery token. You don't know what you're going to select. Then we have all of our power-up ones, which we'll look at those in just a moment. I'll set up a thing. And then we also have these clear ones for showing if you've defeated things. You've cleared a goal, you might have a side there, or the side showing that you defeated something, you can get momentum, and they're all just either a skull or a flag on either side. And these are, again, just, they cover up certain spaces, so maybe you completed an objective, so you know not to keep doing that. And again, we looked at last time we had our momentum counters, which work just like our CP counters, just a little bit bigger. We have our health dial for that. We have all our dice you can sit in there. They kind of just slide right in there for all the villains, which are going to have our 3 different sides. Don't remember what they are. It's like Slice, Power, and Cyclone, I think. Something like that. The red ones indicate for boss stuff. We have all our allies here, which we will definitely want to hop in and look at all of those in just a moment, as well as our mythic cards. So we'll jump into all of that in just a second here. Let me just reset my camera up. Actually, let me reset my camera. 1 sec. Alright, so before we start looking at all of the tokens and stuff like that, let's look at our player perks board. We didn't look at this too much last time. So as you complete games, you earn these points. You can mark them off and you can get stuff. So the momentum has to be earned in order, and we'll look at those cards in just a moment. Otherwise, the rest of them are, you can earn in any order, however you like to spend your points. So we have crit stuff. You can gain either +1 health, starting health, +2 health, +3 health, +4 health. And you could potentially get all 4 of them at some point and have, 10 health extra. So not bad there. At the start of the game, a chosen hero gets 2 fight tokens, which is cool. You can give them to yourself or another player. And just as a reminder, what flight does, players may choose to spend these tokens anytime during the roll phase. When spent, roll 2d6. If a 6 was rolled, roll 2 dice. If a 6 is rolled, activate the token. When activated during their offensive roll, the player's attack becomes undefendable. If activated during the defense roll, ignore all incoming damage. So cool. So basically, you can use that to potentially either damage, avoid attack, or do undefendable damage. For leadership, at the start of the game, chosen enemies inflicted with Focus Fire. Start of the game, hero gains a damage bonus token of +3, so you can spend that whenever you like. Start of the game, you may sell a card, then draw a new card to replace it with. So you can sell your starting hand. That's kind of cool. Start of the game, recruit an ally for free. And start of the game, chosen hero gains 2 shields. So let's look at what some of those do too. So Focus Fire, negative stat effect. When a token is attacked by an opponent, the attacker increases their damage by 1. Modifier is persistence. It basically just makes them do more damage. Shields. Positive stat effect. During a defensive roll, a player this token may spend 1 or more shields to prevent 3 per shield token spent. This can only be used against defendable damage. Isn't restricted by ranged rules. And then we have bonus damage tokens. Positive stats effect. Players may choose to spend these tokens during their offensive roll phase. Each token adds indicated number of damage to the attack. If you gain a token with a stack limit, you must either replace the previous one or discard a new one. Cool. Then we have Heroism. Start of the game, start with 1 momentum. Gain 1 CP, gain 2 momentum, draw 1 card, and gain 1 CP and draw a card. And again, you can get multiple of these. And then we have the feats at the bottom. So after you select your game, these are covered up. This is ready to play, and you have 1 of these. This is the start of the game. Place a pot token on each unlocked feat and remove this token after it's activated. So these get activated once during the round. Reroll an enemy die. Roll 1 die and then add your value to your attacking. Your attack becomes undefendable. Reduce the crisis clock you would move by 1. And using allies exhaustively without discarding them. Can't use the same ability twice in 1 turn. Cool. So we get all that extra stuff there. So let's take a look at our momentum cards quick. Actually, first of all, it's our mission reference cards. Just our setup cards here quick. This is just, get 4 of these, 1 for each player. Just how you're set up for the mission. I'm not going to hold on it too long. You can pause it, and then how turn order goes. Turn order works a lot like the basic one. Pass, movement, hero, part 1. All the heroes play at the same time. Choose you want to attack, resolve your attacks. Heroes get to go again. Then enemy upkeep, then boss and enemies roll, and then crisis clock initiates. Alright, so we have a bunch of crisis cards. We have 4 for each player, or 1 for each player, but 4 of each. So we have Momentum 1, which is what you start off. So it says when you get these, you can spend them. It says recruit any ally. During your main phase, spend the required momentum to recruit an ally. You may have a maximum of 1 ally. For 1 momentum, you may gain range. To activate a range attack or defensive ability against a non-adjacent enemy, you must gain range. So it's kind of fun. So you have the momentum, you can sit there so you can target anyone anywhere, which could be very helpful. Although movement around the board isn't like you roll a die and you only move that many spaces. You can move any number of spaces. So really getting close to guys isn't a big deal unless it's blocked by somebody. Here you can just like shoot over and maybe attack somebody else. Starting player distributes 2 momentum when defeat tile is placed on a henchman. So whenever you defeat them, you play that skull down there. And then you get 2 momentum. And it's nice to distribute it because it's cooperative, so you can give them to anybody. If we flip over to the momentum side too, we still have recruit ally, we have gain range, but we also spend 3 to draw a card. If you get up to level 3, recruit, gain range, draw a card, but also draw a boost tile. Once per round, as an instant action, draw a boost tile and immediately gain its reward. So we'll look at those next to see what those do. If you get up to level 4, we still have recruit, still have gain range, still have draw a card, but it now drops from 3 down to 2, so it's a little bit cheaper to draw a card. And still draw a boost tile. We got 2 boost tiles instead. I like that they highlighted in yellow what changed on them. So that's pretty nice. And then we have level 5. Recruiting ally may now have maximum of 2 allies now. Gain range, draw a card, or draw your 2 boost tiles. So very cool. And the back of the 5s are just another 5. So very, very nice. Neat way to have an extra mechanic in the game to give you extra bonuses for playing. So let's take a look at our boost tiles, such as these little guys here. I'm going to zoom down. So as you're playing through and you first set the board up, you have them face down so you don't know which ones are going there. Then you flip them face up and now you'll see what's on each one. If you land on one or pass through one, you get to pick it up. During the boss fight, they stay face down. You collect them after the boss attacks. If you survive the attack, you get to pick up all your tiles, but they do extra crit damage. So there's a risk reward. You want to get them for extra bonuses, but you're also going to get targeted a little bit harder for them. So we have a couple of different ones. We have a momentum 3, a momentum 2. We have 3 momentum ones. So you have a couple different momentum ones you can gain. We have 3 of the +1 damage boosts. We have a 2 and a 3 damage boost. We have 4 CP ones and a CP2. We have 2 health, +2 health. We have a 3 and a 4. And we also have a gain of 5 and a 6. So if you get that momentum up and you're drawing some of these every turn, that could be super game-changing as well. We also have 3 draw 1 cards and a draw 2 card. Then we have some special effect ones. So we have 3 of this one. It says remove 1 status effect token from itself or gain a momentum. So that could be helpful if they target something nasty. And we have 1 copy of transfer a status effect or token or gain 2. Transferring could be cool because you could use it to like transfer a positive from yourself to a teammate, or you could transfer a negative off of somebody to an enemy. And then the last one we get is I believe this is evade, if I remember right. Evasive. So evasive says, when a player with this token receives damage, they may choose to spend it. Roll 1 die. The outcome is 1 or 2 no damage received. Multiple tokens may be spent. So you only get 1 of them, but it still could be helpful. Awesome. Then we have our ally cards. So allies are a neat new mechanic. Like all this stuff in here is brand new mechanics, but we get additional characters that obviously you can't make every single Marvel character playable, so this is a cool way to add it in there. Although, I have to say, I wish they would have added all of the current playable characters as allies, and then just maybe said, hey, if you're playing as Wolverine or Thor or whoever, take them out of the deck. Even if they would have been like the promo packs, which we'll see in another video, there's some extra ones in the promo packs. That still would have been cool, because then you could have still like teamed up with other characters you aren't playing as. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at all these guys. So up in the top corner, just as a reminder, that's how much it costs to buy them, and then once they're out, you can use them. So we have Squirrel Girl. So once per round during your main phase, spend 3 momentum. All heroes gain 1 bonus damage. Choose a face-up boost tile anywhere on the map, pick it up, and gain its reward. So cool. So you can do that during any of the main phases. Then alternatively, you can also exhaust her, basically discard her, so you don't have her anymore. If you use this ability, all heroes gain 2 damage instead. So maybe you're like, I have 3 momentum, but I don't want to have to keep spending 3 momentum over and over and over. But you might want to spend it the one time to gain the effects. The Beast. So I don't normally do. So Squirrel Girl is Dorian Gray, for anyone that doesn't know. Beast is Hank McCoy. We'll see if I remember everyone's name. So he costs 2. Then in the top corner here, they will have their things. So Marvel Dice Thrones missions 02. So like she was number 1. You know, I always put version 1 and 2, so if they ever update them, they can change that. So once per round during your main phase, spend 1 to gain 2 CP, and plus exhaust, you have to discard them to do this. Gain 2 shield and draw 1 card, so you can do that at the same time. We have Blade, Eric Brooks, who costs 1. Once per round during your main phase, spend 2 momentum and 1 CP to deal 3 collateral damage to an enemy with melee. Heal equal to the amount of damage successful. Exhaust plus increase the damage dealt by 3. And nice, you can heal up to 6. Cable, Nathan Dayspring Summers. Cost 2. Once per round. During your main phase, you may exhaust him to heal 4, move the crisis clock forward or backwards up to 2 spaces. This triggers no effect. That's neat, so you can kind of like mess with how it's going to land. And then just exhaust means you just have to discard them, so you don't have to spend anything to do it. That's fun that some guys have to pay for, some you don't. We have a Domino to go with Cable, Nina Thurman. So 2 costs, once per round during your roll phase. Spend 1 to reel up 2 of your dice. You may choose the same dice multiple times. Plus exhaust, gain a shield, and reroll up to 4 of your dice instead. We have Dagger. Candy Bowen. I'm going to skip ahead a bit because I want to find Cloak to go with Dagger. Once per round during your roll phase, spend 2 momentum. Your attack becomes undefendable. Attack modifier. Exhaust plus, gain a shield, add 2 damage to the modifier. Cool. And then we have Tyrone Johnson, Cloak. I just have to put Cloak and Dagger together. Recruit. So when you purchase him, you gain a shield token. Defense Kicker. Once per round, you may add range to your defense abilities without spending 1 momentum. Nice. And then Exhaust for 2. You have to pay 2 to do this. Prevent all damage from a single incoming attack applies to you. So like, I forgot how the kicker ability worked off the top of my head. Luckily, this rulebook isn't that big. During your offensive phase, can be used once per round. If you meet a kicker's requirement, adds a provided bonus. Okay, so Blade can only be used during the defense. But yeah, an extra defense without having to pay for your momentum. It's not bad. We have Alex Summers Havoc for 3 costs. Recruit, gain 2 shield once per round during your main phase. Exhaust, deal 2 collateral damage to all opponents. This is not an attack. Wong, who's just Wong. Wongers. 2 costs, recruit, heal 3 once per round, deal during any roll phase, spend 1 momentum, reroll 1 of your opponent's dice, exhaust plus, reroll 2 instead. Wasp, Janet Van Dyne, 2 costs. Once per round during your roll phase, offensive kicker, add 1 damage to attack modifier, exhaust again a shield, your attack becomes undefendable. War Machine, James Rhodes. Once per round during your roll phase, offensive kicker, you are attacking, roll 1 die, add half the value's damage rounded up. On a 5 or 6, you must exhaust plus, add 3 damage. Interesting. Jubilation Lee. 1 cost. Once per round, during your roll phase, spend 3 momentum. Change the value of one of your dice to 6. Exhaust, change another one to 6. So that's pretty crazy. For 1 to buy her, and then 3, basically you can, essentially if you want to get rid of her, you can almost get your, what am I thinking it's called? Your ultimate very easily. She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters, 2 cost. Recruit, heal 3. Once per round during your opponent's roll phase, spend 1 token, add range to your defense ability, may activate your defense against an undefendable attack. Exhaust plus to heal 2 more. The Hulk, Bruce Banner. Once per round during your roll phase, exhaust to gain a shield. If you activate your ultimate ability, add 8 damage. Oh, that's nuts. Hawkeye, Clint Barton. Once per round during your roll phase, spend 2 momentum and inflict focus fire on a chosen opponent. Exhaust plus inflicts targeted on a chosen opponent. So what does targeted do? Always nice to check up on these. Negative stat effect. When a player inflicts this token is attacked by an opponent, the attacker increases your damage by 2. As persistent. So that's kind of, and then focus fires. Remember, player chosen attack by opponent, attacker increases your damage by 1. Nice, so if you do that, basically if you exhaust him, you can drop 3 damage on him every turn. Jeff, the shark, the land shark. Recruit, gain a shield. Once per round during roll phase, spend 1 momentum to add 2 damage. Exhaust, add an additional 2. Colossus, Peter Rasputin. During your defensive roll, defensive kicker, once per round when you activate a defensive ability, if your dice shows 2 of a kind symbols, prevent 2 damage. Exhaust prevents 6 additional incoming damage. Black Bolt. Oh crap, what's his name? It's like Blackar Bolkagon. It's a really dumb name for him. But his is kind of neat. So he has an extra ability on his card. So you can roll a small straight. You can now use range damage, deal 3 collateral damage to a opponent. Exhaust to inflict paralysis to an opposing up to 2 chosen opponents. Or paralyzed. Well, afflicted, this token player cannot gain or inflict any status effects associated with any offensive ability. Momentum instead of nor choose to gain momentum instead of inflicting a status effect. All other effective abilities still apply. When a player inflicts this token concludes their roll phase, remove it. So basically it shuts down someone being able to play status effects. But it's nice that you have an option. If you get him, you just have always a potential ranged attack. Here we have Archangel, Warren Worthington III. So if you get 2 of one symbol, 3 of another, you gain ranged flight and deal 6 damage, exhausting additional flight and inflict poison. So poison says, player afflicted this tokens dealt 1 damage per poison token during their upkeep phase. Nice. Magic, Ilyana Rasputin. So you get 4 3 times. Melee damage, deal 1 undefendable damage. Then if the opponent you attack has 9 or less health, set your health to 0, so it just auto-defeats them. Exhaust, add 3 damage. Iron Man, Tony Stark. So you get 5 of the same symbol, so any Yahtzee. Gains a ranged attack, deals 1 CP. Gain 1 CP, deal 4 undefendable damage. For the top 3 cards of your deck, choose 1 to add to your hand, place the rest back in any order. Exhaust. Choose 2 cards to keep 1 instead. So you get like lots of guys have 3 dice that are the same symbol, so you could probably get this very easy with that. Vision, if you have 3 5s, has ranged damage. Move 1 positive status effect token from the targeted opponent. Deal 7 damage. Exhaust plus remove 2 additional positive status effect tokens from the opponent. Then heal 2 damage for each token removed this way. Mantis. I don't know if she has a last name. Once per round, as an instant action, spend 1 damage. Chosen hero, spend 1 momentum, not spend a damage. Spend a momentum. Chosen hero heals 2. Exhaust heals an additional 2. Leech from the X-Men Morlocks. Once per round, as an instant action, spend 1 for chosen player prevents 3 incoming damage. Exhaust to put 2 Wither on an opponent. Wither says, the player of the Wither token will deal damage to resolve attack. Reduce that damage by 1 per Wither token. And then our last one, which is card number 25, so 25 allies, which they won't all fit on here, maybe if I hold them. We have Nick Fury. Recruit, gain a shield. Makes sense, he's shield. Once per round during the crisis clock phase, spend 3, ignore the effects of a single crisis ability on space for 1 turn. Exhaust, ignore the effect of a single crisis ally on space for 1 turn. So cool. Basically, you ignore the bad things. Awesome. Then we have our 4 mythic cards. So as you beat the game, you do New Game Plus, you're allowed to add a mythic card, which are just super extra abilities, which have an active side and an inactive side. If you bought promo packs for any of the characters, Marvel, X-Men, or any of the original ones, they all have their own individual ones. So as you do New Game Plus, you can add them. But they added these in here, one for each player, so that each player at least has access to one of them. So I'm going to look at the back side first of the mythic card here, because it kind of explains how they all work, and I don't have to keep flipping them back over. It says, rules, during setup, place the senior player the active side up. While the card is on its active side, the active ability remains in effect. If the card is active, you may also perform a flip ability. After performing the flip ability, flip the card to its inactive side. So it has a static ability that always is going to apply. And there's a special flip ability, which is like a little bit better or different one-time ability. Once you flip it over, you don't have access to either of them anymore. So we have the Crimson Gem of Sycorax, which is what powers Juggernaut. So active ability. Once per turn, you may pay 1 CP to gain a shield and 1 momentum. Flip ability, prevent 8 incoming damage. And you are going to notice on the side here, just so number, it's 36. And that's because it's counting all the other characters individually. We have the Power Cosmic. The cool foil was on these as well, which powers Silver Surfer. Active ability. At the start of the crisis clock phase, roll 1. On 5, gain 1 momentum. On 6, ignore the effects of a single crisis ability. Flip, gain 1 CP, draw 1 card, gain a shield, and gain 1 momentum. The Phoenix Force. Of course, for Jean Grey and the Phoenix. Active ability. Once per turn during your main phase, you may remove 1 shield from a chosen opponent. Flip ability. Gain a boost +4 and inflict burn on a chosen opponent. Burn says, player afflicted this token has dealt 2 damage during their upkeep phase. Persistent. So it's going to keep dealing 2 damage to them every turn. And then the last one is the Symbiote, like Venom. During your upkeep phase, receive 1 damage and roll 1 die. Gain half the value rounded up as bonus damage of the same type. So every time you're going to take a point, but you're going to gain an extra damage token on every turn. Flip ability, move up to 4 negative status effects from yourself and heal 2 for each one removed. So if you somehow get negative status effects, you can heal yourself a bunch. Cool. So those are all the separate cards. So then we're going to take a look at all the different villain boards. And I don't know if I'll read off every single thing. We'll see. There's 20 of them, so we don't want this video to go on forever. Alright, we'll hop into those. Alright, onward to the villain missions. So, I kind of separated them by numbers. So, there are 2 level 1 difficulties. There are 5 level 2 difficulties. There are 5 level 3 difficulties. And then there are 4 level 4 and 4 level 5s. And as I said in the original rulebook, there are no level 6s as of yet. I am glad that there are 2 different level 1s. And that the rest are kind of spaced out, because the one's supposed to be kind of like a tutorial-ish level. So it's nice that we have 2 of them. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of take a look at each one. We have Dr. Octopus, Dr. Otto Octavius. Wealth is a tool of the elite. It does you no good to protect the greediest people on Earth. So we have side mission 1. Yeah, I'm not going to go through and read through all of these. I'll kind of hold them up. You can pause them if you'd like to see each one, because again, we have 20 of them. I just kind of want to get them through. But we'll kind of look at each one. So just different things, basically. Defeat the henchmen in there. We'll look at each one. So we have the big map board. These are very beautiful looking boards. So there's like the full map there. So this one you kind of have to go around and get to the exit over here. Sorry for the glare, but my camera is only so big. But we have some different enemies. We have the crab bots, which will use their multi-strike melees. We have thief bots, which have some shields, and then we have a laser, which is an unstoppable threat. Yeah, so you have to defeat the blue bots in this one. So you have 3 blue bots over here to defeat. 1, 2, 3. But you can optional defeat the rest. Then we flip over to Doc Ock himself. So he's going to have Crushing Grasp, Laser Strike, and Rapid Slashes. So when you roll the die, you get whatever the best result, starting with the left and going to the right. He has a defensive retaliation. He has a very simple layout with just the 6 tiles around him that you're going to be fighting in, but that means he's going to potentially drop a tile and there's no safe spot. Then on this side we have just reduce him to 0, defeat him. And then we have his special crisis: Gear Up, Recover, Trauma Aid, Grapple, and Master Plan. So he can gain some shields, recover some health. He can also do Entangle on all heroes. And there's going to be a symbol. So let's see what Entangle does. I just like to keep an eye on what some of these abilities do. Afflict player to token just 1 fewer roll attempts during their next defensive phase. To conclude, remove this token. Nice. So it's neat to have the little icons that kind of maybe fit in a little bit better. And I did notice by going through all of these that some of these are repeated, but not all of them. It's not like they made like 5 or 6 of the same ones and they just kept repeating them over. Lots of them have very, very varying effects. But there's Doc Ock. It's a level 1 ability. It doesn't seem too terribly difficult. Our next one is Mr. Sinister, Nathaniel Essex. I seek perfection and will destroy all abominations. So he does the Morlock Massacre. Defeat both beam clones. Move all heroes through the exit is what we want to do. So there's a little dial there. So if we take a look at the board, let's toss Doc Ock out of the way. Look at the board laid out. So we have an entry here and an exit up there. We need to defeat all the brute clones, which are all the green ones. Sorry, the beam clones, which are all the blue ones. We want to defeat all the blue ones again. So there's one way over here, and there's one way over here. So we have it's not too terribly difficult, but we have to get around. But this one has less of a linear path than the other one, so this one you kind of go this way and this way. So very interesting. The brute clones have some melee strikes. These guys gain some shields. The previous ones didn't on the Doc Ock board. Then the beam clones will have a range. So if you don't take out these guys fast, they're going to be able to just shoot you from everywhere. And then we have Sinister's Rage, which doesn't have any physical thing necessarily on the board. We do have a Mr. Sinister symbol up there on the top. Has multiple striking range and inflicts the Wither token. Yeah, neat. It's some good artwork on all these cards, too, so it's very neat. And it's kind of interesting. If you look at these are clones. These are like Sabretooth clones. Because Sinister likes to copy his Sabretooth. And then these ones are Cyclops clones. Which is why we get the beam clones. So it's kind of a fun little extra thing. Then for Mr. Sinister himself. So we have a little bit different style board. So he's in the sewer, the Morlock tunnels. So he only has 3 or 4 spaces around him. He's going to place power tokens. But he's going to place 2 in that one and 2 in this one. So they're a little bit deadlier to stand in. But it also means if you have 4 melee heroes, you're always going to be standing in that area. There's some range spots you can back away. He has some symbols here. Here are some abilities. Flesh Rays, which inflicts poison and does range. Degeneration, and Terror Gaze. And then he has Cold Reboot, which also inflicts Wither. And then his tiles down here, just to reduce him to 0 health. Gear Up, Experimentation, Illusions, Molecular Healing, and Gene Corruption. So he's going to gain Evasive, Healing, he's going to drop some more poison, get some shields. Nice, so there's his different thing. You can kind of see how they lay out, like 3, 3, 2 red, 2 that one, 2 that one. Very cool. Alright, that's our level 1 character, villains. For level 2, we have Sauron. Dr. Carlos Lycos? Carl Lycos, I believe. I am a god in these lands. So he turns into the later. So here we have a boss fight right on the one, side 1. So Sauron's Hunger. Stegosaurus boss setup starts with extra health and gets some oppression tokens. An additional step, we add place the great health tokens on the tree, and get some oppression tokens. So where are the oppression tokens at on here? So oppression are kind of like the ones that aren't circles. When a player with these tokens is attacked by an opponent, the attacker increases their damage by 1 per oppression token on the player. This token cannot be removed or transferred by any means. Unlike most other stat specs, the quantity of oppression tokens inflicted is represented by the value showing a single oppression token. So it's going to have like a set number like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Yeah, it's basically just to make it harder. If you use the oppression tokens, they're basically for extra. Then with some bonus objectives on here too. We have a regular goal, but every Stegosaurus is 0. We have some other side goals to do. Bonus objective. The tree is immune to everything except damage. Great tree is 0, it falls, and staring the Stegosaur away completely. So it's kind of neat. They have a couple of crisis abilities over here. Because they're like a boss. They have Gear Up and Stabilize. Remove a Daze token. Do we have Daze tokens? Must be a special. Oh, right here. Plot tokens represent Daze tokens. Okay. Cool. Alright, so yeah, so here we're fighting a Stegosaurus. So this is kind of neat. We just started the boss fight right away. Very neat. There's the full map if we want to see that a little bit better. So the boss has Goring Hit, Tail Swipe, and Stomp. It also inflicts knockdown, so we'll look at that one. And then Confusion. Unique defense triggers against all enemies, including ultimate abilities. Gain a Daze token. Stack limit of 5. Do we have anything that explains what a Daze token does, though? Oh, okay, here we go. For these mega ones. Reduce damage by 2 per Daze token. Okay, so inflicts Daze tokens on him to reduce his attack. Otherwise, yeah, he does pretty massive attack. And he does inflict is it knockdown? Knockdown. Move this token. The afflicted player must spend 2 CP for the start of their offensive roll. If the player does not, they must skip their offensive roll, then remove the token. So, cool. Then if we go to side 2, we are going to fight Sauron. So we have to just reduce him to health 0. He has crisis abilities. Gear Up, I think a lot of them have that. Recover, Trauma Aid, Captive Glaive, which adds Paralyze, and Hungry Howl, which gains Flight. And we've seen some of those symbols, but that's kind of cool. So here's his area. Again, kind of like the hexagon around him. He has a couple of safe spots. And then he has Drain Life Force, which inflicts Dominance. Dive Bomb, which inflicts Targeted, and Sly Strike, which ends up being a melee one. So if you get, he can do range or something, you might have got to do that. So Dominance is a brand new one we haven't seen yet. When a player token attacks, they must roll 1 die. On 1, they must choose a teammate to target instead. If they cannot, they must discard 1 randomly. Then remove this token. On 2 to 5, do nothing. On 6, remove this token. Okay, so it's only on a 1. It's not too bad, but still, that could be terrible to get. Alright, next up we have Claw. Ulysses Claw. So much fuss for so little metal. He starts out with Vibranium Wars. Plot token at the start of the escape track. Goal. No hero may move through the exit until the rocket mercs have escaped or been defeated. Then move all heroes through the exit. Interesting. Tip. Some of the enemy attacks affect the escape track. Remember to resolve the effect for each targeted hero. Alright, so we have a couple of symbols down there. Looks like a blue and a green. So if we look at our board here, so this one has entry point way over here, but we have a couple of different troopers all over. We have 2 blue, we have 4 green, we have an exit up there. They have an escape track, so this is kind of neat, because instead of just being defeat X guys, or, you know, do stuff like that, we have some other different stuff there. But we have the Rocket Mercs, kind of look like Power Ranger-esque type heroes, different colors, blue, green, red, and then an orange one. They get flight, and they can roll +1 on each one for an escape track. And then we have the Shock Troopers, who deal stuff there, and the Focus Fire. Cool. I like different pictures on there for each one. So I have the escape track here. Goal: defeat the Rocket Mercs before they escape with ignites of vibranium. Certain abilities will progress the plot track on the escape track. Each time the token moves through a red space, the matching Rocket Merc has any health remaining. They escape through the vibranium, with the vibranium, placing a clear tile on them that counts as an empty space and can move to another, contribute to the crisis clock. Interesting. Each time a rocket is defeated, starting player chooses a hero and draws 1 card. Alright, cool. So yeah, you have to try and defeat each one, but they're going to escape in the order of A, who's got up here, then B. Going to escape kind of in order. So you're going to be the guys can escape first is the furthest one away. So if you can perform ranged attacks, take him out, that makes more sense than trying to run through each one. Otherwise, you have to try and bust through one of these two to get around to the rest of these guys. Yeah, it's a neat little extra thing. We also have air support down here. It does an extra damage. Yeah, so that's a fun, different thing to do. Then for Claws, here's Claw's big old map. I like it even, yeah, this is kind of neat. So you guys like, take that a little bit different shape. Again, just having some of them deal a little bit different is nice. Just drop him to 0. We have Gear Up, Resonance, Shockwave, which has a Disruption token, Sonic Bomb, which has a Concussion token, and Oral Saw, which has a Bleed token. So there's some tokens to look at. What's your guys' abilities, though? Quick. Klaxion Bomb, which has Knockdown and does do Bleed. Thunder Wave, which can do Bleed, and Sonic Blast, which also has Bleed. So which tokens do we need to look at? Disruption and Concussion. They're right next to each other on here, so we're going to get both at the same time. Concussion says, a player with this token must skip their income phase and remove the token. Disruption says, during the upkeep phase, a player with this token may choose to lose 1 CP. If they do not, they receive 2 damage instead. Interesting. And then the last one was Bleed. Up at the top there, player with this token must roll 1 dice during their upkeep phase. On 1 to 4, they get 1 damage. On 5 to 6, remove this token. Cool. Alright, so that is our second level 2 character. Our third one is going to be Sebastian Shaw of the Hellfire Club. X-Men villain. You're like me, I always have been. You do it for the money, you do it for power. Nuclear Assault. So push a blocker on the hacking meter. So again, we're going to have a different thing. I like it's not just, again, always the same exact things. Goal: defeat any 4 enemies and move all heroes to the exit. So a little bit simple there. So here's less times they're going to trigger. But then here is the board for that. So we are fighting some Hellfire members as well as Cult Thugs, Strike Teams. You have some different guys down there. Otherwise, yeah, this one's kind of like you can basically get right to the exit almost whenever you want. You just gotta defeat 4 guys, right? You kind of just gotta pick and choose how you want to defeat them. Your goal is to kind of get through. So you have Cult Thugs, which are henchmen, they have 10 in a shield. Nice. And then we have the Strike Team, which will afflict Wither and Targeted. So those guys might be very tempting to take out. And then we have the 2 Hellfire Club members themselves. Let's do some other stuff with this hacking meter. And then we do have a Sniper up at the top here. So this bonus objective, Stop Sebastian Shaw's used from hacking the power grid. Crisis abilities will progress the pot token. Defeat all enemies adjacent to both hacking terminals before the tokens fail. Oh, okay, so there are the 2 hacking tokens there. So if you basically defeat these 4, which are next to that, you can stop the hacking meter. Or you can just choose to defeat any 4 and get out. But it's kind of fun. Bonus objectives, get extra stuff. Cool. Alright, then we have Sebastian Shaw himself. It's kind of like in this middle of this chamber here. Very simple map as well. They don't have too crazy stuff for that, because I want you to focus on him. Gear up, ripple, absorb, entrap, and explodes. This is going to do some chaos tokens. So there's a bunch of those. We'll get those in just a sec. Unchained Fury, Rage Attack, and Brutal Swipe. So you can do some bleeding as well. The Chaos Token. Positive aspect. These tokens are gained by various henchmen and bosses. Specific enemy abilities will indicate how these stacks are used. No effects on heroes. Okay, cool. So it says gain a Chaos Token, 1 down stack from yourself. So anywhere listed specifically what Chaos tokens do. 1 chaos from yourself. Oh, here we go. It inflicts extra damage per chaos token. Okay, cool. Alright, we have another X-Men villain. We have a Mystique, Raven Darkholm. Humans will never accept us. We must scare them into submission. So hers is going to be the UN Catastrophe mission run. Mix some checkmarks and mystery tiles together and then place them each politician. Alright, interesting. Revealing mystery tiles. It's a little bit different thing there. Close on Mystique, clear 3 tiles on the... Place 3 clear tiles on the politician, move all heroes to the exit, or defeat all henchmen. Awesome. Alright, so let's see what that looks like. So we have a political office here we're fighting in. So we have some officials there. There's 4 of them. Different troopers and stuff. Exit's always available. We have the troopers in the green. Crisis abilities. Riot Control has 3 shields. So it's going to take a little bit more. And then put some Wither. The captain. Who has some targeted. And then finally we have a sniper. Who's always in orange. I like the color coding on there. It's always really fun too. Yeah, that's really neat. Very good artwork, especially for trying to be like a top-down game. Then we have Mystique. So she has a little bit wider area than some of the other guys. She has just defeated a 0. Gear up, seal wounds, subterfuge, just gains an evasive, or treachery, gains dominance. And then we have Deadly Contortion, which inflicts disruption and paralyze. She also gains evasive. Reptilian Form does extra damage. And Morph Claws, which has bleed. Nice. Alright, our last number 2 is the Kingpin, Wilson Fisk. Everyone has a price. Sometimes that price is the safety of their loved ones. So he has the Magia. Mission run. The Magia is infiltrated New York. Place a plot token on each dossier. Go pick up all dossiers before they're destroyed. All heroes to the exit. Cool. Just something different. I like it. So it's like that. We have a big office space we're in. Art museum. We go with thugs. Some big tough thugs in the green. Some gun thugs in the blue. And then some armored guy in the other one. Yeah, the dossiers are all over the place. They're kind of on different tiles. So we have the bruisers. We're going to do knockdowns. Pointmen can put some bleed. And then the dreadnought who can inflict burn. And then we have the security turrets, which are somewhere. I don't think they actually just kind of like those guys up there. Alright, and then if we turn around to fight Kingpin, oh, he has a big map. A little bit bigger than some of the other guys. Bigger, I like that. I think they're kind of getting a little bit bigger as the game goes on, because then you're not standing right next to him, just attacking every turn. Just defeat him. He has Gear Up, Brutal Grapple, Peak Fitness, and Spring Trap. He gains Concussion. Token which you've seen before just makes a guy harder to hit. Or waste their turn. And then he has Bull Run, Car Toss, and Judo Throw. One touches an ultimate ability too. And then he has Body Slam, prevents some damage. Those are level 2 characters. Alright, for level 3 we have Mysterio, Quentin Beck. Is that right? That sounds right. The truth is a matter of perspective. So here we have Executive Crisis, Mission Run. Goal, find both mystery tiles, and then move all heroes to the exit. So there's mystery tile stuff. There's our little dial there. Take a look at the board. Fighting some different stuff in there. A little bit tighter quarters on these, but yeah, like I like this, right? There's some terminals back there that you're going to have to get through guys to get to. There's no illusion meter up at top, so something different there. We have fake agents. So I'm going to do stuff with the illusion meter. Phantasms. And then we have the President? Question mark. And then Mysterio. It's somewhere in there. It doesn't actually show up on the board, I bet. And then have the illusion meter up here. Failure Panic. A certain enemy ability will move the plot token. President pardons a sinister 6 and you lose the game. Ooh, neat. Something different there. Then for Mysterio himself, he goes back to kind of a little bit tighter location. Reducing to 0, he has Gear Up, Confuse, which has the Silence token, Mind Fog, Blinding Fire, which has Entangled, and Grand Reveal, which also gets Entangled and Wither. His abilities are Psychic Tornado, Baleful Illusion, Mind Crush. What are you, Kaiba? Or Yugi, I should say. And it has Dazzle for a defense. So he does get the Silence token, so let's look at that one. Unique status effect. Player with this token may not activate any of their small or large straight abilities. Other straights are not affected. Because there's a super straight for Deadpool. At the conclusion of your turn, move this token. Just kind of shuts those down. Now the picture on there makes more sense. Alright, then we have Master Mold, Giant Sentinel. The risk of mutation is widespread. Drastic measures must be enacted. Savage Sentinels. Mingle to defeat Gamma Sentinel. The purple, guarding the factory guards, move all heroes to the exit, or defeat all henchmen. Tip, when a Sentinel is defeated, use defeated tile to cover them up, then distribute 6 momentum. Use 3 defeated tiles. Okay, because you have 2, 4, 6. Alpha, Beta, and Gamma. So we have big giant map here. So we start there, just big sentinels everywhere. Not a ton of them like some of the other ones, but I'm going to guess they have, a lot more health than everybody else. Plus it looks like we have some heroes or some civilians to rescue. So we have the beta sentinels. There's 2 of them. There's a green one on each side. Have 25 health and 3 defense. Good tangle and some multi-strike melees. Alpha Sentinel, which also has ranged. Great. He's burn. That's awesome. Always fun. Then the Gamma Sentinel, which is 35, has ranged. Good stuff. Then we have Radiation. Multi-strike undefendable. So we have some radiation circling around somewhere too. Bonus objective. Rescue bystanders from other sentinels to defeat them. Are not players and not targeted by abilities. Nice, so you can go ahead and try and rescue one of them. And get some bonus points. That's always cool. Little neat idea there. A little extra objective to do. Make the game a little bit harder. For Master Mold himself. Now this is definitely how Master Mold should be. So instead of having him in the middle, he's a big giant guy. You have to punch his face and his hands, I'm sure. But there's a little interesting spot set up. So he has... just defeat him. Gear Up, Heat Vent, waste ejection, and tracking missiles. But he gets Fury of the Forge, adds some burn, Heated Hammer, and Crushing Grasp, which also adds Silence and Entangle. And then Foundry Fire, which gives him range and burns. Neat. Alright, then if we want to fight another X-Men villain, we can fight Magneto. Humans will never accept this. Our only possible future is through force and control. So, Asteroid Attack. Goal, move all heroes to the exit or defeat all henchmen before the weapon generates 4 plot tokens. Interesting. So we have a lot of different symbols on there. So just that one side, the blue are going to activate a lot. So here we are in a missile silo area. So we have some different troops we have to fight. So just want you to get to the exit. So really you could, like, why wouldn't you just move here and defeat this guy? But I guess if you don't defeat him in time where everyone else starts attacking you, it's probably not going to be good. There's a weapon generator symbol. So we have M soldiers. Inflict some entangle on you. Gunners, who have range, also move the plot tokens up. And Toad as a henchman, although we have a specific character. It puts poison. And then we also have the generator controls. Which you have to deal with. Which, yeah, right there. It's kind of neat. You have the orange symbol right there for those. Cool. Alright. I know we're kind of flying through these, but we have a lot to go through. So you have Norman Osborn, Green Goblin, Spider-Villain. There's one thing I will say about this. And I don't know how you necessarily rank these, because it's like the difficulty of the villain. Like, Green Goblin's the same ranking as Master Mold or Magneto. Like, is he that challenging of a villain? I think it's just the difficulty of the mission. Not necessarily saying each villain is one harder than the other. In like a regular combat sense. I'm not crazy. Everyone else in the world is just blind. Goblin Surprise. Put out the fires and defeat all henchmen. Interesting. This is again something different. So we have the board there. Looks like we're at the Daily Bugle. There's Jay Jonah and Robbie Robertson. Ben Urich. Nice. Some demons, some goblin guys. Is that Betty Brant, probably then? That's who all the rest of them are. Hostage track. Say to the hostage to be careful. Enemies press the ability to increase the hostage track when a plot token lands or past the hostage map, and say the hostage is destroyed. Oh no. Oh, that little water token's on there too. We're putting out the fire. So you have to get the water and then get him to this spot, I'm guessing. Green Thugs. We have the Mr. Negotiator. One single henchman. And he fits Barbed Vine. We haven't seen that one yet. And then the Goblinoid. And we also have Goblin Gas, inflicts poison. He also inflicts Hex on all heroes. So let's look at what those ones do. Barbed Wire. Barbed Vine, I guess. Player inflict this token receives 1 damage for each roll attempts beyond the first of the roll, up to a maximum of 2 damage per turn. Tokens are removed, then this damage is applied at the conclusion of the roll phase. And then for Hex, whenever a player inflicts this token rolls a 6 as their die has been altered, is as their dice has been altered to a blank die face that has no value. At the conclusion of their turn, remove this token. It will not be transferred by any means. That kind of sucks because you can't get a 6 out of anything. Then for Green Goblin. Ooh, look at this. Here's a big long one you have to fight on. There's a big rooftop. Just knock him down to 0. Gear up, Arise is Flight, Shield of Madness, and Relentless. Activate Pumpkin Bomb crits. Flyby, Gas Blast, and Pumpkin Bomb. And then he has Aerial Dodge. So he's got Flight a lot, which makes sense. He's a flying character. Alright, then we have a Fantastic Four in our last level 3. We have Super Skrull. So this is definitely a cool thing with something like this, is because, you know, maybe they might continue in the future to do some more Marvel characters, and we might get some, like, Fantastic Four. Or like Peter Parker, Spider-Man. Be kind of neat. I know they're talking, there's debates on whether they're going to keep doing IP stuff or not. You rely too much on your eyes. This makes you easy prey. Shield compromised. Skrulls have invaded Shield. Ooh. Defeat all henchmen. So there's our crisis dial. Crisis clock, I guess. There's our board. So we're in the Shield headquarters. Different colored Shield agents. There's not even an exit on this one, so that's kind of fun. You just gotta defeat everybody, regardless. Bonus objective. Revealing identities. Oh, interesting. So instead of just defeating them, well, you have to defeat them and then you have to do a thing to try and reveal them. Additional rules. Even if they're hostile, don't hurt you unless you know they're a Skrull. If you're attacked in this mission, you may choose to not activate your defensive ability if desired. Interesting. Why would you... When unrevealed henchman is defeated, or at the start of them, okay, so basically you defeat them, you get to reveal them, or you can like do this to try and do this other stuff to reveal them ahead of time. Gotcha. Because you might not want to defeat them, you gain some extra bonuses. Okay, cool. So you have grunts, some basic stuff there. Shock troops with some defense. A command. And then we have the toxic smoke. What's poison? Oh, poison's gonna suck. Poison every turn. Alright, so that's our level 3, guys. Let's take a jump in at level 4. We're gonna jump into a Thor enemy, Hela. And we have Loki, too, technically. We can play as both of them. As guardians convince their goodness, are conceived of their goodness. In truth, they're just weak. Are convinced of their goodness. I learned how to read. We have From Hell. Oh, wait. Back up. We didn't actually look at the Super Skrull, did we? How to fight him. So he has a regular 6 hex, so very simple. Just defeat him. I love those little symbols there. Rock Rampage, Phase Form, and Pyrokinesis. Elastic Grab, which has Entanglement. Stone Strike, which gives him some shield. And Plasma Jet, which gives him burn. And then Psychic Barrier, which gives him some defense. Alright. Sorry, Klurt. Forgot to look at Klurt's, the Super Skrull's side. Then let's jump into Hela. So we have From Hell, so you just defeat all henchmen. There's also a capture meter on there. Just looks like 2 different henchmen? Interesting. So that's kind of fun. A bunch of them, and they're probably tough to deal with. That's always fun. So is that Odin in the middle there? Odin is his Odin sweep. Capture meter means a crisis along the thing. Try not to get that to the end. We have Fire Demons, who inflict burn. And then we have Greater Fire Demons, who are also going to inflict burn and use Chaos tokens. Kind of interesting that they're Fire Demons. If we're fighting Hela, you thought she'd had Undead. That would have made more sense for maybe like Surtur. But there we go. So we have her triangle form there. Reducer to 0, she has Soul Drain, Tombs of Viges, and Hell's Reward. Shadow's Embrace, Blind and Poison, Grave Kiss, Wither and Poison, do some extra negatives, Deadly Grasp, and then Rotting Aura. So we haven't seen Blind yet. I think we're running out of tokens we haven't seen yet. Next time a player flips this token concludes their offensive roll, they must remove it and roll 1 die. And 1 to 2, their offensive roll fails no matter of any kind. Alright, so this is definitely one I'd be like, why is this only a 4? Why isn't this like a 5 or a 6? It's Onslaught, the combination of Magneto and Xavier. Professor X, there's no way to stop me. I will achieve dominion. Onslaught Citadel. Remove Havoc and Black Bolt from the ally deck. They cannot be recruited as mission. This is why, again, I said earlier, why couldn't they include the other characters in there? Rescue or defeat 2 captives, plus 1 additional per hero. Then remove all heroes through the exits. Or defeat all henchmen. Alright, so we have a very simple board on this one. Starts off in this poison gas, though, it looks like. Or is that bushes outside? Might be bushes outside. But we have some different mutants we have to fight. Get to the exits. We have bonus objective. Rescue mutant captives, henchmen on this tile from the grips of Onslaught's control. Rescue captives, stand near them and deal small amounts of damage. Stand near them or deal small amounts of damage. Onslaught will be more powerful when you face them unless you rescue them. Defeated captives don't count as rescued. So we have the Savants. The Vanguards, which have some defense. And the Chosen. And then we have Iron Rain. Does some barbed vines to you. And to fight Onslaught himself. Oh, he's got a big old map. It's a little bit more interesting to back away from him if you need to. Or he can push you away maybe. Gear Up, Patience, Shrapnel, Dominion, and Grasp. So like some of the icons are used in multiple things, which I don't mind. Magneton, Mind Drain, and Cosmic Crush. And then Enervating the Will. Cool. Very interesting. Let's see how much health he has. 40 plus 20 per hero. Interesting. So, alright. Then we have another big bag. We have Ultron. Who doesn't actually have another name. But his Iron Man's mask there he destroyed. You have interfered with my plans too many times. I can no longer allow you to exist. So, revenge on the Avengers. Defeat all henchmen. Tip, henchmen can deal 10 above starting health, just like heroes. Interesting. Alright, so we have... Oh, this is an interesting map as well. They're kind of all on one side. You start here, you can technically move down to some of these areas, but there's some terminals we're going to try and do as well. Bonus objective, find the computers are hacked by the drones and reveal the mystery tile. So there's a couple of computers there. We have micro shooters. Deal poison, of course. Repair box, which are going to keep healing guys. Inflict burn and bleed. Sentry, which has focus fire. And then security turrets, which are those guys right there. Can use some extra range damage. So yeah, unstoppable threats are, I think, going to be the issue for lots of it. Ultron. Ooh, he has a nice big old area as well. Oh, it's neat because it's like the opposite side of the other map, I bet, right? Like right there's that. So basically he was in that crate, I'm guessing, or he landed there. And then you see where some of the turrets were destroyed. Defeat him to 0. Gear Up. Escafino Beam, which is his main thing. He has Hex and Paralyze. Energy Absorption and Gravity Bomb. So he is going to have his Meteor Punch, Plasma Volley, and Gravity Focus. And he has Vibranium as a defense. Nice. Alright, our last level 4 is MODOK, whose real name I don't remember at all. According to my calculations, you will all perish. Mechanism design... why can't I ever remember it? Mechanism designed... Only designed... something killing. I never seem to remember the acronym for whatever reason. Cosmic Clash. Open the research bay doors or defeat all henchmen. So there's 4 different controls you have to activate. I do like that that's what these are. It's not just come in, defeat the minions, move on. Some of them have other things you need to be doing. So they're just defeat henchmen, and it was just then a boss fight. That's kind of, it's interesting still, but then like everyone's how are they any different from each other? Alright, so there's our big old map. So yeah, this one kind of goes back to some of the older ones, the first couple, like right where you have to like, move through, gotta get to this, move around, go through, you have to actually go through everything, so that's kind of fun. No side objectives on this one, so it's a little bit more stuff in there for difficulty, but simpler in the terms of what you have to do. We have Chem Team, gonna deal some more poison and burn damage. Cryo Team, who has Entangle and Burn. Freezer Burn, I bet. Grav Ops, we have Knockdown. And then the Warp Field. Neat. Alright, then we're gonna fight MODOK himself. So there's MODOK's big old area there. He has just defeat him, nothing special there. Gear Up, Paralyzing Ray, Reality Control, Clear Mind, and Master's Reboot. And then his abilities are Quantum Blast, Super Laser, Ether Strike, and Thought Fog. Alright, we're heading into the final four. We have level 5 stuff. We have Scar, Hulk's son. You're the reason I exist and will be the reason you fail. So this one is Hulk's Legacy. Remove Hulk from the ally deck. Goal, any hero ends your turn with Hulk recruited and not exhausted. Interesting, so you have to eventually find him and get him somehow. This is always here. Place Hulk on the top of the ally face down and remove the cards back on the deck. So he's going to be in there a little bit, just not shuffled in there. Interesting, so you have to find him and not waste him. Alright, so there's our big old map. The city streets, just looks like otherwise. We are fighting a bunch of these guys on here. Hive troopers, it looks like. We have bonus objectives. The Scarings are ransacked and seen. Don't let the Scarings cause any damage. Will cause destruction, so if they destroy things, they play some damage counters. Respawn. Some enemies will respawn defeated henchmen. Interesting. The boss on that side is pretty difficult. Don't waste all your good cards trying to stop enemies from respawning. So basically try and get the Hulk and keep moving on. Don't waste time taking guys out left and right. It's kind of nice that they put that in there. Shock Troops, level 8 health, not too terrible. But yeah, like that, you get Crisis ability, you might respawn a Shock Troop. The Gladiators, could also potentially respawn. The Royal Guard. And then we have Reinforcements. So this ability in turn order, select hero defeated henchman and respawns it. Oh, nice. So great. And that can Crisis, you can respawn it even more. Awesome. Alright, then for fighting Scar. So we have Scar's big little map there. Now, he doesn't have any of them tokens on the board, which is interesting. And then we have a spot for the Hulk card. So, interesting to see how this kind of works. A little bit different. Boss setup, place Hulk on the map. He's only recruit. However, any hero who activates ultimate ability may exhaust Hulk to use his power. Reduce Scar to health. Health to 0. Okay. Starts at 50 plus 35. Gear Up, Godlike Fury, Titan's Endurance, and Wave of Steel. Adds a bunch of Chaos tokens. There's the symbols there. So the old power, Storm Strikes, and Savage Assault. So it's like he's going to do some healing, lots of damage, and some bleed. But they gain some Chaos tokens. If you're going to add some extra stuff in there, so Chaos do something. Invincible. Your sneak defense works against all forms of damage, regardless of type, search, including ultimates. Your hero can only be reduced 1 below health when a hero exhausts Hulk while activating their ultimate ability. You can only be reduced below 1 health when a hero exhausts. So basically, he can't be defeated unless you use the Hulk. Interesting. Oh, and then Wave of Steel is while your crisis. 3 cloud per crisis token. Interesting. It's a little bit different thing there. Kind of neat to use the ally cards as an option, extra thing in there. That's fun. Alright, then we have the Scarlet Witch. Wanda Maximoff. My goals are above misguided concepts like good or evil. So, Demon Disaster. Additional substat across the map are artifacts of numeral value. Each location has a value less than equal to the number of heroes playing. Each pot token represents artifacts. You only have an artifact placed down a game with 2 or more heroes. Okay, so the number is just how many people are playing. Defeat the Ancient Horror. So there's that. So it's kind of like a mini boss fight. This is a pretty big map, though. There's little things everywhere. The big purple guy we need to defeat. Interesting. Bonus objectives. Grab artifacts before they steal them. So you want to go pick them up. Tips. A hero may not damage the Ancient Horror unless the hero has picked up at least 2 artifacts, include ultimate abilities. However, the Ancient Horror must still be damaged by other means. So you could, like, poison him or burn him. Interesting. Imps. Put him in a Jason artifact and deal 2 damage. Okay, so they're going to try and steal some artifacts to get them crisis. Dread Champion. And then we have the Ancient Horror. Look at that, 45 health. He has as much health as some bosses do, so he's definitely like his own mini boss fight. And then we have Profane Aura. Alright, what's Scarlet Witch herself do? She has a pretty much standard 6 hexes there. Reduce her to 0. Gear Up, Fate Control, Curse Reflection, and Dark Prophecy. She has Reality Tear, Umbral Fury, Crimson Blast, and Chthon's Chaos. Hexes, Concussion, Silence, Wither, yeah, lots of status effects. Then deal 1 damage per Chaos token. Nice. Alright, down to the last 2. So we have a very different one here again. We have Mordor. Baron Mordor. Carl Mordor. No less a magician than I am Sorcerer Supreme. So, for his, we have side 1, which is a boss fight. Darkness Balls. So we have to fight him right away. So main objective, reduce him to 0. We have bonus. Crisis abilities cause Mordor to absorb students. Scanning your card students to block his strikes. His crisis, Gear Up. First hit, second hit, third hit, fourth hit. So this is who he's trying to absorb. So very interesting. So very different gameplay as well. Here's his board. You see the different guys there. And then his abilities are the Scorn of the Faulting, Maddening Echoes, and Eldritch Webs. So yeah, very interesting there. We have a different kind of boss fight. You're not only just trying to stop him, but protect him from doing different stuff. And on the other side, we have Dormammu. The Dread Dormammu. I'm infinite eternal, but you are grains of sand in the desert. So he has another big one, kind of like Master Mold, where he's so huge you just have to kind of just punch him everywhere. He has infinite health. Starts with 8 plot tokens. Remove a plot token for each student that was not absorbed by Mordor. So if they don't absorb as many, he's a little bit easier. Remove all plot tokens from him. Dreaded Persistence. Ancient Plains, Ethereal Influence, and Ashen Grasp. So he has Time's Brutality, Disruption, Paralyze, Aeon's Anger, has some Burning, Concussion, Curse of Darkness has Targeted and Blind, and then Astral Foothold. Unique defense triggers against all attacks. When successful, deal 9 damage. When this attack would successfully deal 9 damage or 4 undefendable, remove a plot token. Interesting, so you have to, like, smack them against everything. Do a lot of damage, remove them tokens. That's cool. Just another different way to play against him. Alright, then our final villain of this game is Thanos, the Mad Titan. I am the Master of Death. None shall stand before me. So we have another boss fight. We have to fight the Mind Stone. Black Horse traces the Mind Stone to the Vision. So remove Vision, place health tokens on him. As long as his health may be used once per round but not exhausted. Objective reduce Ebony Maw to 0. Bonus objective. Certain abilities like Ebony Maw to damage Vision, you must protect him. Gear up Void's Curse, Deadly Transmutation, and Cosmic Misama. Interesting. So we're fighting Ebony Maw to begin with. Your surrender now and your defeat shall be painless. It's just kind of neat some of the visions here. Again, like the Hulk. Kind of needs to add some things like that, like with the other characters. That's a neat way of doing that. Blackened Hex, Shadow Form, and Burning Webs. He does some damage and signs. And Relentless. Ebony Maw prevents 4 damage and Vision receives 2. Attacker chooses. So you have to decide which is worse. Then when we fight the Titan himself, he also has the Vision on here. And he has a big old side area there. And his is reduce Thanos to 0. If he's reduced to 0, he has... At least you don't lose the game if he gets 0. So Persistence, Terrible Plans, and Final Work. Well, the Final Work only triggers once. So that's actually not too bad. Then he has Dread Command, Violent Rebuke, Calculated Blow, and Inevitable. Awesome. So that's what we have for that. I just want to look at this quick. I think we went over all the different tokens. Shield, Weather, Target, Paralyzed. Yep, that's all the ones we had on there. They have the enemy dice, of course. Alright, so that's what we have for Marvel Dice Thone's missions. So, bunch really neat way to play. You can play it single player. You can play it up to 4 players. You just add more health, basically, for everyone you fight. But yeah, lots of them are just like, defeat the villains. But then there are little side things you can do, which are kind of the goals. Like, if it's just defeating the villains, that's fine. But having to do some of the side stuff and getting some of the extra perks, and then you can keep playing through each one, is, I think, a really fun idea. There are 20 missions. And if we look at the perk point thing, just as a quick thing here, this is a reminder. So if you do not complete any of the side missions, you get 0 PP. If you completed any of the sides. If you only completed one side, you gain 1. If you completed both sides, you get 2. If you completed both, and also scored a perfect reward, you get 3. So yeah, at general, like, you're not going to get the perfect rewards every time. Because I'll select on the one side for perfect and complete over here. So yeah, just in general, if you just go with 1 and 2, you just did 1 and 2 every time. So that's 20 missions times 2, it's 40 points. So is that enough to unlock everything? I don't think so. So 3, 6... 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 25, 26, 27, 8, 9, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 49. So it looks like there's 70 points you can get on here. So yeah, you wouldn't be able to play each match even one time completely and then have this done. So it's not going to play, I can play every mission once, and even if I beat both sides and I never lose, you wouldn't have this maxed out. But that's why they have New Game Plus, of course. So it says, if you perfect the mission on side 1, also complete side 2. Fill in the matching circle, and once you completed 1 for each different difficulty, then you start a New Game Plus, You can do that as well. But yeah, we perfected all 3 of them. If you got that for all 3 in every single time, that would be 2, 4, that'd be 60. So you still wouldn't even have enough. So like in the end, you're not gonna be able to get every single thing. So you really have to decide what you want. Like, do you want to get up to momentum 5 of extra thing? Do you need to have all the health? Maybe you just want to start with 1 health or 2 health the first couple of times. Then later just jump up to the 4. Might depend on what character you are too. If you're like Wolverine, who might not need the health, you might only want the 1 health. It might just be beneficial to you. But some other guys might want more than others. So very interesting. Alright, that is what we have. Unfortunately, they don't have any like extra promo cards for these guys, just more of the allies and stuff. But yeah, check out the rest of the video, check the promos, so you can see the other cool mythic cards and stuff like that. As well as the other Marvel video, just see those guys. Yeah, see you guys later. Bye.